In my last Digimon video, I talked about some of the best / my favourite Armor Digivolutions we never saw in Digimon Adventure 02. But this week I'm gonna get mean as hell as I talk about some of the worst canonical Armor Digivolutions we never saw, thank you Azulongmon, in Digimon 02. This once again is in no particular order apart from the last one, which I just... Let's just jump into it. First up we have Baramon, which is Patamon with the digi-egg of courage. Now this one nearly didn't make the list because it's got some red element, it's got a kind of bestial dragon feel, which, you know, kinda comes from the whole crest of courage thing, but just fucking look at it. Listen, I was lenient on things like Kangaroomon who didn't have much armor. Baramon doesn't not only have armor, he has clothes. The headpiece is a nice design, but you can barely see the digi-egg of courage in here, and you sure can't see Patamon in here. I don't hate this design, and Baramon himself has been a cool Digimon in things like Digimon World 3, but as an Armor Digivolution for Patamon, I'm glad this one was never in the anime, at least in 02. Next up, we've got Elephantmon, and this is the closest to not making the list that has ever been. In fact, if this was a digi-egg of a different kind, it might have even ended up on my best digi-eggs list, because this is Armadillomon with the digi-egg of miracles? Now listen, Elephantmon kind of has armor going for him, you know, he's got the cool fans. You can kind of see Armadillomon becoming an elephant, kind of, if you stretch your imagination a little bit. Isn't the digi-egg of miracles a golden digi-egg? I don't see no fucking gold. And yes, well, it is a bipedal animal on 4 legs, I don't see no actual Armadillomon skin body in there. In fact, the body is white, so it could have been Gatomon? These giant turbine ears are actually a really cool design choice, and I would have liked to have seen it in a different concept, except according to the wiki, it can't fly using the turbine. Useless, trash, bad armor, isn't even gold, in the bin. Get off with you. Next up is Pipismon. Next up is Pepsimon. Next up is Psmon. Next up is Pipismon. That face when small Pipis. And this is Patamon with the digi-egg of love? Now listen, I kind of see what they were going for here. The digi-egg of love has the whole kind of flying thing, right? So you got Birdramon, you got Halsamon, you got Swanmon. And so I'm not necessarily mad at the idea that maybe it doesn't always have to be a bird. Maybe it could be another flying creature like an abomination bat. And I guess they tried to sort of factor in Patamon's... It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It hasn't got any armor. It's a fucking big screechy bat bastard. And there's no armor. I mean, there's the little hook things on its back that could kill a man. I don't think we're counting that as armor, although I've been pretty generous. I did call balloons armor in the last one. I was tired when I made that video. Okay, give me a break. Pipismon has shown up in the anime in different video games, and it's fine as a kind of evil-ish mook, but as an Armor Digivolution for Patamon, get out of here! Next up is Wormon with the digi-egg of sincerity, and it's a fucking Scarecrow. Moving on. You want me to talk about it more? Fine. So first of all, there's no Wormmon in this, and now like Hawkmon went from like a bipedal bird to a more humanoid shape with the digi-egg of sincerity. I can see what they were going for, the whole like grass straw thing which comes from Togemon in Shurimon is kind of there with like the greenish Scarecrow, but it's just fucking stupid. I also think it's really funny that its attacks are called Delusion Crow and William's Arrow. And also, according to the description, the true body is actually the crow and the Scarecrow is just a dummy, a puppet, so yeah, Wormon to crow. Doesn't really make sense. In the bin! Next up is Borman, which is Armadillomon with the digi-egg of courage, and this one's another super close one. Bipedal Armadillomon, I can kind of see becoming a boar. There's the fire of courage. You could maybe generously say that the hooves and face are armored, but it just doesn't stand out, and I also can't see it fitting into the team. It wouldn't do anything for a promotional aspect like Oposumon. It wouldn't do anything for a battle aspect. There's something like Flamedramon or Digimon isn't already taken care of, and it wouldn't really do much for the show. If this showed up in 02, I'd be like, okay, that's going further down the list than fucking Shakuamon, and everyone knows how much I hate Shaku. Don't you, get out of here. Get out of here, we'll talk about you another day. Borman is not even bad, it's just fucking boring, man. In the bin. Out it goes. Next up, Ponchomon, the racist Togemon. Now, listen, as a digi-egg of sincerity Digivolution, you can't see more clearly that line that I like to talk about that's tracing back from the original 8 Digidestined than here. I mean, it's literally a ghost version of Togemon in a poncho and a sombrero. So while it totally has that lovely through line of the crest of sincerity coming from Togemon, it's just terrible in every other way. There's not even a single hint of Patamon in this thing. I can't even stretch it to work. Patamon can kind of fly. Once again, no armor. Wearing clothes. It's not the fucking clothes digi-egg. Digi-clothes up! Next up is Hormone. It's Armadillamon with the digi-egg of light. I can't even begin to make this one work. The digi-egg of light, we have like Nefertimon, right? The crest of light comes from Angelwomon, Gatomon. So you might think, you know, angelic stuff. You might think cats might factor in, you know, you could even go to like Magnadramon and factor in the sort of Falcor from Neverending Story design. That's what that is. Everyone knows that's what that's inspired by. That's what Digimon based Magnadramon on. But no, we get a sort of trumpet seahorse. like at a stretch, you could be like, okay, well, Submarimon, but it's the digi-egg of light. But it is armored. I'll give it that. But in every other way, it's terrible. It doesn't make sense, and I'm glad I never saw it in the show. It did show up in some of the games, most notably Digimon Dawn and Dusk, and it's fine by itself, but as an Armor Digivolution of Armadillamon and one of using the digi-egg of light, it just makes no fucking sense. Whoever threw that pencil, your Monza Seaho. Maybe I should go in the fucking bin, Jesus. Next up is Alemanya. Alemanya, you're this close. You're this close to greatness. You're a Digivolution of Hawkmon. We can see some of Hawkmon in there. There's some feathers. And an inspired design choice with the digi-egg of courage, you turned the bird into a dinosaur because of the dragon influence. Fucking shout out to Charles Darwin. Amazing, right? Birds evolving from dinosaurs. Love that, right? Brilliant concept. So why is he the most boring looking dinosaur Digimon I've ever seen? It's like a boring version of Blue Greymon. And no armor, Alemanya. Come on, man, get it together. I'm being a little bit mean to Alemanya. It's actually a pretty decent design. If you threw a little bit more armor on there, it would probably be one of the stronger ones that we've seen on this list, or even maybe the other list. But again, the same thing with Borman. I just can't see this being on the main team. It doesn't have protagonist vibes to it. It doesn't have partner vibes to it. It looks like an enemy Digimon that you'd forget about, like one that's just like taken care of in the background, and that's kind of is the role it fulfills in most medium. It shows up in Tamers as an enemy for Renamon, which is quickly dispatched. It's fine, but if I saw it in the bin, I wouldn't try to take it out. Alright, here it is. I teased it in the last one. The penultimate Digimon on this list is Mambomon.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive.
It's Boxing Glove Fish. And here's another one. Just like Hormone. Look, okay, play a game with me, right? If you don't know it, or if you've never seen it before, or you've forgotten, what do you think this fish fucker is a digi-egg of? Did you assume reliability because of Submarimon and Ikakumon and it's light again. Mambomon is an incredibly stupid design. Like out the gate. Second of all, it looks more like it could maybe be a Vmon Digivolution with the blue arms and the boxing gloves that Kangaroomon. You see what I'm going for here. But no, this is Patamon. Patamon, who in Adventure 02 and the 2020 reboot has this kind of symbiotic relationship with Gatomon and Angelwomon, where they're both kind of two sides of the light coin, you know, hope and light, both kind of working together. They're both angelic. That's their whole thing. Why would that not then be mirrored with Patamon and the digi-egg of light? Why would he become a fish? Why would he become a boxing glove fish and not like maybe a cool feminine angel? That could be pretty neat. Something more like maybe Saber Angemon, like the ultimate combination of Kari and TK's powers and energies and crests. But no, Patamon with the digi-egg of light, boxing glove fish. In the not even in the bin, in the blender. Get in the blender with you. And finally, I teased this in the last one too, is Wormon's canonical Digi-Armor evolution with the digi-egg of kindness, his crest, Uchiman. Or Puchimon.
My planet needs me.
I don't understand how they did this to my boy. Now, does Buchimon look kind? Yes, looks like it's lovely. looks like it could probably cure with kindness. It has the ability Heavy Beam, or the Heartner Beam in Japanese, which soothes those around it, stops them from wanting to fight, which is nice for kindness, but did it have to look like that? It also has the Talon Arrow, which is called Love and Fire in Japanese, so, you know, maybe not kindness, maybe just fucking kill them with kindness. Wormmon becomes Buchimon in Digimon Adventure 02 Armor Evolution to the Unknown. When Wormmon digivolves into Buchimon, he shoots Davis with his Heartner Beam and makes him calm down, and then later on talks down a Digimon from being a bastard. I'm not the type of person who wants every Digimon's evolution to be like cool, badass, awesome, but just he's wearing clothes. Now, yes, there is a green version of Buchimon, which is slightly better because at least it's the same color of Wormmon, and like I can see the antenna on Wormmon becoming this, but like, did we have to lose the insectoid theme? Again, thematically it works, you know, rather than fighting fire with fire, he uses kindness, you know, underneath all the rough and evil of Ken is actually someone sweet and kind who can persuade people just as easily with his mouth as he can with his fists. I didn't mean mouth like that, I meant with his words. Oh god. Man! Wormmon has such cool Digivolutions like Stingmon, Paildramon, you know, Imperialdramon, Dino Beamon. God, why do my favorite Digimon have the worst Digivolutions? But Buchimon is just booty cheeks. I think you could still have a much more interesting design which feels fitting for Wormmon and still keep that it kind of kills with kindness, or is just kind. A good example is like Cherubimon, which is not an Armor Digivolution obviously, but it is a cool Digivolution which has an evil mode but also has this really nice kind mode which really works for the Digimon and the character and still doesn't feel lame. Can't relate. And then from like a show perspective, it just doesn't fit in. You'd have like Flamedramon running down the street with fucking Halcymon flying behind it and Digmon tunneling under, and then you got Buchimon's like, wait for me guys, I'm kind! Buchimon has shown up in other seasons of the anime, including Frontier and Fusion, as well as the Frontier movie, and like it was fine in all of those as a Digimon in its own right, but for one final time in this video, Buchimon, bin. Anyway, that was my thoughts on the worst Armor Digivolutions we never saw in Digimon Adventure 02. If you have your own thoughts on the worst Armor Digivolutions, or maybe you disagree with me and think Buchimon and Mambomon are awesome, go get help, but also leave me a comment below. Comments apparently super help in the algorithm, apparently, so if you're enjoying this kind of Digimon content and want to see more of it, I'm never going to do Toku content again probably, but I'm really enjoying doing Digimon content. So, you know, like, comment, ring the bell, all that stuff, subscribe, and I'll be back for some more Digimon content soon, because I think we need to talk about Project Digiclips, don't we?